Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
Hi, I'm Jack Berry, and today I'm in beautiful northern Ohio with a blue sky talking to two terrific golf course designers who have designed courses all around the country and pretty much around the world. And I'm with Arthur Hills, who's the head of the outfit, and Steve Forrest, who has been with Art for nearly getting close to half a century. Art, let's talk about your days starting out at your grandfather's farm and moving up to beautiful Pure, Michigan to go to school.
Well, that's about it, Jack. I started I lived on my grandfather's farm for the first 15 or 16 years, and I lived also right next to Ottawa Park Golf Course. So when I was about 9 or 10 years old, I started playing golf there. It cost us 26 cents to play golf there, which 26 cents wasn't necessarily easy to come by. But anyway, I had a half a dozen lawns in a nearby neighborhood that I mowed. I'd mow those early in the morning, go over to Ottawa Park and play golf. So that was my golf start. And then when I was about 16, my family and we all moved to Dexter, Michigan, outside of Ann Arbor.
And you were in the high school team. Only they didn't have a team.
we didn't. Dexter. When I went to Dexter High School, there were 32 in my class. There were 130 in the high school as a whole, and we didn't have a golf team. But I heard about that you could have such a thing, so I started one. I got 3 other guys to play golf with me, and so we played. We played in a district tournament at Barton Hills when we started out. Barton Hills in Ann Arbor.
Not a bad golf course.
A great golf course. I loved it. And I had a wonderful time. My parents moved to Florida when I was a junior in college, and I worked at Barton Hills for 2 summers on the golf course. And
was Andy Bertoni there then?
Andy Bertoni was there. I think he was there all the time we were there, and he was a great guy to work for. He never wanted us to work too hard, but he just wanted us to work hard enough. But he said he didn't want to make a living by the sweat of his brow, our brow. So we had a great time.
Yeah, Andy wound up as the superintendent up at Meadowbrook for a long time.
Yes. In fact, when Andy went over to Meadowbrook, he arranged for us. There were 3 or 4 guys among the crew at Barton to go over to Meadowbrook and play golf with Chick Harbert. And Chick Harbert, the day we played with him, I think he shot a 66, and he said, "Well, I wish I could play this way every day." I think we were, I don't know what we shot. We didn't embarrass ourselves. We had a great time. But Chick Harbert was quite a neat guy.
Well, PGA champion and longtime professional there and long hitter. So then, in your Dexter days, you won the Ann Arbor City Championship, didn't you?
Well, yes, I did. I won the Ann Arbor City Championship. It was a strange thing. I beat a guy that played on the U of M golf team in the finals, 36 holes, 2-1. Keith LeClaire was his name.
Oh yeah.
He probably would have beat me about 4 out of 5 times, but I lucked out the day we played.
And I think his wife Susie LeClaire was a fine player and was a golf team coach. Yeah. So then you go up to Michigan State and have a good time there. You led the league in, what was that, tilting a bottle or something like that? Yeah.
Beer drinking maybe? Yeah, it could have been. I took a agronomy course. I thought I was going to go into this farm business with my grandfather, which eventually didn't happen. But anyway, I took an agronomy course there, and actually that was a good basis in part for designing golf courses, because that combined with landscape architecture, which later on I got a degree from Michigan in landscape architecture. I commuted from Toledo for a couple of years and while I was working in my landscape business and got a degree in landscape architecture. I figured if I was going to do anything in the landscape business, I needed to differentiate myself in some way by having a little more knowledge about
golf.
landscape architecture. It ended up, it helped a lot with the golf.
So, well, I understand that you are something of an artist, and you draw things like, I guess, holes. And now, are you painting any golf courses along the way?
I haven't painted any pictures of any golf courses. I always kind of thought about doing that, but I never have quite gotten around to doing it. I guess I'm not going to get there at this point.
Well, how did you get into the designing then?
Well, I wanted to do it while I was in the landscape business, and especially in the winter when things were pretty slow. I thought, I wonder if I couldn't design one golf course or so a year or something like that. So I put a little listing in the local phone book, and one of my landscape customers bought 500 acres or something on that order to develop a golf course residential community. And he didn't play golf, and he heard that I knew something about design, and I thought I knew a fair amount, but I hadn't done anything. And so he asked me, he says, "Can you design a golf course for me?" And I said, yeah, I can do that, Jack. And so he hired me, so I got to design an 18-hole, actually plus another 9-hole executive on that same property. And then, oh gosh.
Starting with 27 holes.
Yeah, and then actually the second one was really a story. I had a fellow working for me, and he came to me one day and he said, "My uncle wants to build a golf course up in southern Michigan. Would you like to talk to him?" Of course, yeah. So I called the guy, and the guy said, "Yeah, I'll come down and I'll pick you up. I'll come down in my helicopter." And he came to where our office was in his helicopter and picked me up, took me up in southern Michigan, flew over the proposed site for the golf course and said, "Okay, come on, let's go over to Joe's French and Italian restaurant in Monroe and we'll finalize a deal." So we went over there and sat in the back part of the restaurant, and he says, "Okay, I'd like to have you design me a golf course." And he says, "It's going to be an all-cash deal."
Wow.
So
You said, "Oh yeah."
no, I turned in all the stuff as far as the IRS and all that, but I'm not too sure he did. I mean, he had a trucking business in Detroit, and he was an all-cash dealer. So I kind of drew some conclusions from that, but I won't go into detail on that.
But what was the name of that course?
What's the name of it?
Giant Oak, is
Oh
it?
yeah, Giant Oak.
Giant Oak.
Oak is
Oh yeah, Giant Oak.
Giant Oak.
Yeah, it's doing well. It's one of the, a lot of the golf industry is hurting a bit.
Right.
Giant Oak's doing real well. His granddaughter runs it now, and she does a great job.
So from that course, from 27 holes there, what progressed from there? Where?
Well.
Did you say, "I'm not cutting grass anymore"? I'm designing
No, I had to keep
courses"?
cutting grass because I didn't have enough golf course jobs. But then we got a job for the city of Toledo to do Detweiler Public Golf Course, and then, well, actually before that, when we did this first one, a guy from Bryan, Ohio, got in touch with us, and they wanted to add 9 holes to Orchard Hills Country Club in Bryan. So we got to do 9 holes there, and that was at the same time, I guess, as Detweiler. Yeah, so there was the first one.
Brandywine.
Brandywine.
Burnwick at that point.
Burnwick at the time. And then Giant Oak, and then Detweiler, and then the 9 holes out in Bryan. So we had a start. Oh, and then a couple years later, the city of Toledo had a golf course called Ottawa Park, which was built in the early 1900s. And they wanted to either close it down and just make it a general parkland or improve it. And so we got hooked in with them, and we got to design a renovation of that golf course, which is still operating and is still as it was after we redid it. And it's a beautiful golf course. It's only about 5,700 yards long, but it's a delightful golf course.
That sounds like it's fun to play. That
it's fun to play. It's in a partially wooded site, and it's a very pretty golf course.
It was actually the site of the first amateur public links championship hosted by the USGA.
Right.
Wow, terrific. And we're at a pretty nice golf course right now. We're at Maumee Bay State Park is behind us.
I don't know how we got that job. Do you know, Steve, how we got that?
Some of your finagling. I'm not quite sure
I know.
who we paid off on that one. But
it was the site was here, and the state was going to build a lodge here, which they have done. It's over to our north on the lake, on Lake Erie, and they wanted to build a golf course as part of their amenity package, and so we got the chance to do it. And the site was absolutely flat, dead flat. There wasn't a tree on it, but it wasn't really marshland. It was just a flat site. I guess it was farmed, probably farmed.
Probably tomatoes or corn.
Probably, or soybeans, yeah, probably. So, I don't know what to tell you about that place.
Probably
farmed.
Probably tomatoes or corn.
Probably, or soybeans, yeah, probably. So, I don't know what to tell you about that place.
It's probably through. Did you know Bernie Quilter? Was it through that relationship at all, or?
I didn't know Barney Quilter, but he was a local political figure, and he was probably instrumental in the whole thing happening here. Yeah.
Good man.
Yeah. We were proud of him.
Well, then you started expanding your business.
Yeah, and then, well, what was it, about 40 years ago, a fellow named Steve Forrest showed up. No, I guess it was 45 years.
Well, I think
No, I guess it was 45 years.
Well, I think you should talk about like Palmetto Pine and how you got into South Florida. That was before my time even. But
was it really? Yeah, we were very fortunate to get a job in Cape Coral, Florida, which is right beside Fort Myers, Florida, in 1969, and that happened because a friend of mine's widow called me up and she said, my father, who lives in Cape Coral, is head of a committee to do a golf course, and they hired an architect, but he's sick and he can't do anything. Would you be interested to talk to them? And of course, that's a no-brainer. I mean, of course, I was interested to talk to them, and so I went down and met with them, and they employed me, and that was the first of many golf courses in Florida. Palmetto Pine is the name of it. It's in Cape Coral. It's still going on, and so after that, we seemed like we had opportunities all over Florida. Although we did a lot of work around Naples and Fort Myers area. We've done about 20 courses around in the Naples area, and I think we've done as many as 50 courses in Florida. Is that about it?
Wow.
I think so.
And Steve was in on the Florida quest. Right?
Oh yeah, he did. Steve, I tell you, I'm not. You mentioned something about me being interested in painting.
Right.
I'm not a very great artist with a pencil. Steve saved me by doing a very good job on the boards in the office primarily, and I would go down and talk to glad hand and talk to all these people, and it just seemed like we would get along with. We would go out with the engineers and the planners and go out and have a beer or something in the evening, and they'd say, and then somebody would come in town and contact them, and they'd say, well, we want to do a golf course. Who do you suggest we use? And those people in Naples who were had businesses there, would say, well, we've been working with a fellow named Arthur Hills. You might give him a call. So we got a whole bunch of jobs that way, and just not on skill, but no-brainers, and we just managed to get along and do a good job.
Somebody said you were was it Pete Dye said you're the mayor of Naples?
Pete Dye, yeah. We had an architects meeting in Naples at one point, and Pete Dye was chairman of one day's meetings, and he said, yeah, and the next guy that's going to talk is called the mayor of Naples. That was the term he coined.